Welcome to the Spurs 9501 podcast. From Kane to the Lane, the final say on all things Tottenham.
Okay. Everybody, welcome back to the Spurs 9501 podcast. This is Ray in London. I've got Nico in Tromsø with us in Norway. We're going to have a quick discussion about our first defeat of the season against Crystal Palace. So welcome back, Nico. How are you doing?
Thanks, Ray. I'm good.
Good.
Disappointed and good.
Yep. Okay. So, Nico, I wanted to talk to you about the match, just get your thoughts. So, first of all, talk about the formation where it looked to me like he had three defensive midfielders in Winks, Højbjerg, and Skip. So, what did you think about that, and also about the general formation?
Yeah, it's too defensive, I think. Yeah, I echo your thoughts about three defensive players, and problem is they cannot progress up the pitch. They're not passing the ball forward, so it's unbalanced, and we didn't have any attacking intent either. So it was way too defensive, I think. Yeah.
So when Nuno took the job, he said we were going to bring the Tottenham DNA back into the team and, be attacking and everything. So how can you say that on one hand, on the other hand, play like a defensive team? I know he had Bergwijn was injured and Sonny was injured, etc. So he was hampered, but it didn't seem like a very attacking formation to me. Why do you think he went so defensive?
It might be he doesn't trust Nobele quite yet, and the same with Brian Gil. Probably it's because of the experience with Winks, and but he's not good enough. Just not good enough. I don't care if it's experienced. Same with Davis when he came on. I don't want to see him playing for Tottenham Hotspur. It's not good enough.
No, we'll come on to Davis and everything like that. But just talk about the first half and. Yeah. Just give us your thoughts about the first half. I don't think we had a shot on target in the whole match, but first half, Harry Kane had the fewest touches other than Eric Dyer. Dyer went off injured. Just talk us through the first half then.
Yeah, I think we started okay. Like we had organization, but we didn't have any penetration going forward. That was the problem, and not enough support when we came forward. So they were very isolated, the front players. But I thought we had decent control in the first half. I have to be honest. And despite the loss, I think the centre backs, Roden did okay when he came in for Dyer. I didn't see the major problem there. So I wasn't optimistic, but I was a bit. I thought if he just adjusted in the break, this was going to be a decent chance still, but not enough going forward for me.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, if you come up with what did that formation tell you when he started the match? Was he just content for a draw? Do you think he actually wanted to win the match? Or what do you think about that?
I still think he has the priority of defense first with protecting the centre backs, and now we shuffled also the centre backs, so the protection. And that also enables the fullbacks to go forward when you have three as defensive-minded. So I think he probably thought about going direct on the counter-attack and just hoping a bit of magic from the front players. But it's not enough. We need one more central midfielder to come up. We need Ndombele.
We do need Ndombele. We do. So tell us about Eric Dyer. I mean, he looked quite good actually, and then unfortunately, a bit of a bad throw out by Lloris. He had to stretch for it. What did you think of that injury? And that, do you think Lloris was to blame for that?
He was a bit too stressed there. I think it was a bit too long in front of Dyer. Having said that, Dyer is not very quick. But I'll give the blame to Lloris. He should have had a bit more subtle with the pass there. Yeah. So, but I think Dyer. I have to be totally honest. I was a bit sitting on my couch thinking, "Come on," I thought it wasn't a big deal when I saw it first. So. But,
it must have been pretty big for him to come off. But let me ask you a question, Nico. We played three defensive midfielders, like as you said, Skip, Højbjerg, and Winks, and then we had a back four as well. So even then, we looked quite open. They were cutting through us easily. What was the problem?
Yeah,
they had chances and everything. They looked really threatening. So even though we had basically 7 defenders, why did they still manage to, make chances and everything?
Yeah, but because I think that the fullbacks they weren't good enough coming forward either. Because you have that width there. I thought maybe we were trying to double on the flanks at some point because we had 3 defensive midfielders, but they just didn't perform. And I remember very specifically when Winks came over the midfield and he played that straight pass on the counter, and I thought that's the moment you need to be precise with these.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that was an easy ball to play, and he couldn't play it. He couldn't play it. Yeah. Okay. How do you think our new right back Emerson Royal did? I mean, Wilfried Zaha is one of the best players in the Premier League, very fast. But how do you think Royal did in his first match?
He started well, but then he lost a bit control. I think Zaha got the better of him eventually. But he has to. You have to just give him time. It's such a big difference with the pace and power of the Premier League. So I was a bit, to be honest with you, Ray, I was a bit surprised he started because I thought maybe he would start Tanganga still at right back and Rodon. But
maybe he doesn't trust Rodon. Yeah, let's come to the. Let's talk about the sending off now of Tanganga, which I wanted to ask you. Do you think that was the turning point in the game? I know, obviously, 10 against 11, you'd say it will, but do you think that was firstly, was it a sending off? Do you think it were 2 bookable offences? Do you think that was the right decision?
Yeah, it was the right decision, but I have to be supportive because I think he's not experienced yet. I think he had a decent match. It was fine margins. The first one, I loved him for it. A hockey tackle on Zaha. I think that was beautiful, to be honest. And the second one, it's just a slight judgment error. He's a bit slow there, and it is a card. But then again, he will learn from that, I think.
Yeah, some people here are saying he could have been sent off for the first offence because he put his hands on Zaha's face and all that. What do you think about that?
Of course, but no, I loved it. So very good.
And another thing was there was bad management from our friend Nuno, because when he got the first card, he was very sort of still arguing with Zaha. He looked really uptight and aggressive and all that. And some people are saying, Nuno should have said, okay, I'm going to take him off because he's going to do a rash tackle. He's going to be sent off. But Nuno didn't do anything. Do you think that's valid or not?
No, I think he was right to leave him on.
Okay.
Because he has to manage to have a card. That's normal. And I think he was composed. Zaha was so childish, like
Zaha. But that's his job. He wanted to wind him up, didn't he?
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know if he lost his composure. To be honest, maybe he did. But it was very, very fine margins there. With we broke in front, and then it was just a bit too aggressive. Yeah, maybe it was deliberate, but that's the way it goes. So.
Yep.
Yeah, he will get more chances for sure.
Okay. You said, so 2 cards, it was a sending off offence. Do you think after that we brought Ben Davies on? I mean, what do you think about Ben Davies coming in as a defender?
Yeah, I have to moderate myself.
Remember, this is a no swearing channel, so don't swear.
I don't get it why we still have Ben Davies. And okay, you can argue he's a squad player, blah, 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 but what is he doing there with his arm out? This is just, I can't defend it. I watched the replay. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I was like, take your arm in, take it in. What the hell are you doing? You're ruining I don't get it. It's just, he's experienced as well. So I was
Cam, hi Cam. Cam's joining. I've got Nico in Norway and it's myself. So how you do? Cam's in Florida, Nico. So please be introduced. Hi.
Hi Nico. How are you?
I'm nice, Cam. I'm very jealous about you living in Florida, by the way.
Well, Norway's a nice place too.
So for sure. Cam, we were just talking about Tanganga sending off. Did you think it was a warranted sending off?
I think he was lucky to survive the first incident where he smacked him in the face.
Yeah.
And that could have been a sending off too. I've seen that given. Yeah. But the fact that no one spoke to him or calmed him down or whatever is poor leadership, really. Poor leadership from the captain. specifically from Lloris coming out and telling him to calm down, and from Nuno. I mean, if Nuno could see that the guy had lost it, because after that he looked like he'd lost it, he should have taken him off.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. We were just saying that he should potentially have taken him off. But just to go over a couple of things we said, Cam. I mean, what did you think about Nuno playing 3 defensive midfielders in the formation?
Wow. I mean, I think, I'm sure you guys probably discussed this, but when you saw that team sheet put out, you could see no player that could take us from defense to attack. There was nobody that could transition. It was just like, there was just a complete disconnect. It was like a no man's land in between, in the middle, where they're all defenders, and then there's a couple of people who might attack. And I know that Mora tried to run around a bit early on, but even he gave up after about 20 minutes.
Yeah,
and it was the most disconnected team I've seen us put out for a very long time. And I'm sure that's probably what you guys have been saying.
Nico
too.
was saying exactly the same thing. And Nico, what if if Jose Mourinho had put that team out, everybody was saying, what a defensive coach, what a horrible coach. Was that a baby Mourinho team then?
Yeah, what's the difference, to be honest? He had to choose another player, but having said that, who? Because obviously don't trust Ndombele to start the match, so who? Maybe Brian Hill or play Ali higher up the pitch. That's probably the thing we could do. But yeah.
I think most people will be concerned having Winks and Højbjerg and Skip in all 3 of them playing basically the same role.
Exactly.
All 3 of them. I mean, we were already struggling to score goals when we had Skip and Højbjerg at the back together, because there was still a bit of a change in transition. They still couldn't see where the transition was going to come from. But putting Winks in there as well, it's completely went in there to not score any goals. And I think the biggest concern is only scoring 3 goals in 4 matches. And now conceding 3 is you really all through the match. I don't know about you guys. You got to wonder where were the goals going to come from. And I don't know whether you discussed this or not, but the first half we had 3 touches in their penalty box, only 3. During the whole match, apparently we had 2 shots. I didn't see the second one. I saw one lame shot from Mora against their 18 shots by Palace. All I can say is that if that Gallagher knew how to finish, they would have had a lot more chances and probably would have made the scoreline even more embarrassing. But the worry must be, though, Ray and Nico, is where are the goals going to come from? I just can't see it.
Yeah, no, I can't see either. I mean, this is the thing we were talking about, Cam, and I asked Nico as well, that why he doesn't trust Ndombele now to play him. So what happened was we're 1-0 down. He didn't do anything to try and change the game, try and bring some attacking players on, try and change the formation. What do you think, Nico? Then I'll come to Cam.
It's very worrying because we have now lost 26 goals. Vinicius and Bale is gone. And who are going to score those goals? Also, I would add Kane. He didn't look very good today. And
did he look like Nico? Did he look like somebody who wanted to be playing for Tottenham?
That was my question, to be perfectly honest. And when either of them are injured, we just look so impotent going forward. And I don't think Bergwijn would be any different than Mora, the same player basically. Yeah. They don't have an eye for goal, so it's a worrying sign, to be honest. I think so. So
Cam, if Kane is not scoring, where are the goals coming from?
Well, they were coming from Son, but I mean now he's injured, and we don't even know how long he's out for. But on the point that you just made about Mora, Nico, he hasn't scored since March. The last time he got a goal was in March of this year when he's been playing more or less consistently. Interestingly, ever since we sold Lamela, he suddenly found his striking boots. That was he joint top scorer in La Liga right now, I think.
I think that league suits him, doesn't it?
Yes,
I think that league suits him. The speed of the league and all that. It suits his type of play. But Cam, I mean, why didn't we, when we went 1-0 down, we didn't try and? I mean, Nuno just standing there doing nothing. I mean, what's going on there?
Well, I mean, I think you when I came into this conversation, you were talking about the handball that took place, and we're putting Davis on. I mean, you've got Winks on. You've got 3 defensive players. You've got a defender's just been sent off. You're putting on another defensive player. So you're very clear what your tactics are here. Putting Davies on was, I thought, a terrible mistake. He gave away 2 of the goals. I think he was culpable for the second one too. He looked like he sort of got skimmed by the player, didn't he? Very easily. The handball. Every single player you see nowadays has their hands behind their backs. They all stand behind their back.
And he can't do that, can he?
No, but he can stand like this though, with his hands right out. I mean, it's just, it's beggars belief, doesn't it?
Yeah. So, I mean, Kam, Nico. Just one second. Nico brought a good point about the formation. Why didn't he keep Tanganga at right back and play Rodon at the centre with Dyer? Why do you think that is?
I think it was an opportunity to give Emerson a run out. I suppose you bought a new player, you spent 30 million on him or whatever it is. You've got to start using him. Did he have a good game? Was he better than, say, Aurier? Probably not. I mean, but it's his first game, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got to give him time. It's his first game.
But I think there's 2 things here. One is that maybe the tactics that he was playing was to have the wingers running forward, have the fullbacks bombing forward and being the extra attacking option. Yeah. But I don't think either of them did that very well today. I thought Breguelon had a very average game, especially going forward. He couldn't even beat the first player. He couldn't put a cross in. He didn't put any crosses in. And I can't remember Emerson putting anything in, to be honest. And he was more on the basis that he was a good going forward too, and had this skill of putting in these great balls in the box. Maybe that's what his tactics were today, was to use the 2 fullbacks as bombing forward and have 3 at the back and have those other players covering for them. But it didn't work.
Yeah, just interacting with you there. I think also if we had a more attacking midfielder centrally with Skip and Højbjerg, who can spray a pass, it would be probably a bit easier for the fullbacks to get good balls, because they're not very good at passing the ball. They don't have the range or the the urgency, I think, to go forward. So it's all about the composition, I think. Yeah,
the fullbacks had to be parallel with these guys to get the ball, because they can only pass it sideways. They can't thread a ball through, so they could be higher up the pitch, and do some more damage and all that. But I wasn't impressed with, obviously wish Nuno the best, but I wasn't impressed by his lack of proactiveness. He was very reactive to things. He didn't bring Hill on. He still doesn't. If he doesn't trust Ndombele, Kam, why is he on the bench then?
Desperation. So many injuries.
If you don't trust him, why are you putting him there? You're not going to play him, so why is he even there?
Yeah. What he's saying is that he would have played him if we hadn't got the red card from Tanganga, hadn't had the rush of madness, and he would have come on. That is what his view would be. And I think that as soon as Tanganga got sent off, it was very clear we were going for a 0-0. The question is, though, if that's what you're going for, then take Dele off. Make it very obvious. Leave an extra defensive midfielder on, because basically Dele had to drop back into the role that Winks was playing anyway, and probably didn't play it as well as Winks was playing it. So I thought it was a bit of a disaster all round. The problem that we had there today is that none of us Spurs fans watching that game had any clue as to what was going through Nuno's minds and what his long-term tactics are, let alone what his short-term tactics are, and where the team is going. I mean, all we knew was 8 people in defence, and hopefully we get a break and we may get a goal. That's all I could see. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but I saw
apparently he was playing a diamond with Højbjerg, Skip and Winks. I don't know where they were in the diamond or what type of diamond that is, but anyway, it was a really, really bad performance. It looked like they didn't want it at all. And Nico, I mean, I'm really worried about Chelsea next week. I mean, this could be like a cricket score or something. I mean, this is going to be a thrashing, isn't it?
Yeah, the only thing I would say is, of course, there we have a very clear plan. We know how we're going to... Well, you could say that today also, but... But maybe are the Romero and these players, are they ready for this match?
Well, they're going to be back in the country one day before, aren't they, Kam? So I don't know if they're going to be fit or ready to play. But if Nuno's meant to be this great tactician, he knows that if I say Crystal Palace, the most dangerous player, Wilfred Zaha, everybody knows that. So there didn't seem to be a plan. It was just leading Royal is just one-on-one with Zaha. Get past him and you're in the box. So
why can't he play Tanganga there? It was great against...
Yeah, exactly. I don't understand that. because as Cam said, I think he wanted to give Royal a run out, but I think there could be easier games. But there's no easy games in the Premier League, are there, Cam? No. Did you want to talk about how this is the first win for Crystal Palace in God knows how long, in 6 years against Tottenham, is it, in the league, Cam?
That's right, yes. I think that Palace have, in the league, I don't think they've beaten us since 2014.
Yeah.
And so it's very big news for them. Pretty poor news for us, though, isn't it? I mean, it wasn't. The problem for us is it's a 3-0 thrashing. They did beat us 2.5 years ago in the FA Cup, as they'd like to remind us. But this was really 3 points dropped, I think. But not just that. It was also we've lost that slight goal advantage that we had. Now we're back down to 0.
Yeah, and also it's the first London derby they've won for a long time. I think I can't remember when, but they've lost a lot of London derbies. But Nico, I mean, let's assume that we won't beat Chelsea, and I think Arsenal win their next match. And if Arsenal beat us, they'll be on the same points as us. So we were laughing at them, but it could all change very quickly, couldn't it, Nico?
Yeah, it's early days, but there are huge question marks now. But obviously, we know this. The squad is very vulnerable when we have either Son or Kane missing. That's just a fact. I think also we have to take into consideration that, of course, this situation with the defenders being away in Brazil and all that, because he had a very set back four. But they weren't the major problem. It was going forward was very disappointing, I think.
Yes. I mean, just to add to that, Nico, I think if we do not get Son back very quickly, if we don't have that outlet, somebody who can hold the ball, who can run with it like that, there is nobody else that does what he does in that team. I mean, the biggest problem that we had today was, again, about possession. I think we had 38% possession. Yeah. Every time we got the ball, we handed it over because we had no one to pass it to. There was no one ever free or available. And one thing you do get with Son is he does remove some of that pressure. He might lose the ball when he goes forward, but he gives that few seconds of pressure off your midfield and off your defense to sort of like reshape themselves. And they had no breathing space today, no chance to get back into shape or to try and reset to get the ball back, because there was just nobody that could take the ball forward at all. Kane was just not at the races.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching the Aston Villa match and Douglas Luiz got the ball in midfield and was running forward with it and passing forward with it. We didn't have anybody that can do that, do we?
No.
What do we do? Like, what do we do when Kane or Son is out of the team? Because
we don't do very much, it seems like it. We just become like a really, really average team.
Yeah, but my point is, what's the solution? Like, either if it's Mourinho, if it's Nuno, if it's Conte, whatever. Like, because the other place, they aren't taking the responsibility and actually going towards goal. They're just passing it sideways. You take it. No, you take it. And then it's difficult also. Yeah. I want to defend Nuno a bit because it's obviously the same strategy as Mourinho, let's be frank. Yeah. Be compact, counter-attack, and the man management part would be maybe the crucial difference there to keep a tight-knit squad and everything. But the tactics...
This is a very, very similar team to what Mourinho had. So if Mourinho couldn't get him to do it, I don't see how Nuno's going to get him to do it.
Is it a worse team? Because we have, as I said, 26 goals.
Vinicius, Bale and Vinicius goals are not there. It's a worse team, isn't it? Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe.
Well, we got to give. I mean, Cam, do you think if it doesn't pick up and we slip down the league, etc., and doesn't pick up, do you think Nuno's going to be in any sort of threat or anything, or not? Or is it too early for that?
Well, I mean, it's a really good point, because I just pick it up on Nico's point and the point you made, taking out Son and Kane. The next person who scored anything of significance was Bale. I think he got over 13 goals in the Premier League, over 16 in total. And then that dropped down to 3 to Ndombele, who got 3. So there is basically, if you remove someone, 13 goals is significant. You remove that out of the equation, and you've got a Kane who already in 4 games in hasn't got 1 yet, who seems to be probably out of form or not that interested. You really got to ask yourself, well, who's going to step into Bale's shoes? Gives you that third place striker position. We're going to give you some goals from midfield. And there isn't anybody because Mora hasn't scored for a long time. And Ndombele last year, let's face it, didn't do it. Is not the person. Lo Celso is not a goal scorer. Delhi is not a goal scorer right now. Who's left?
But remember, Paratici is always on his phone making calls, right? So,
Who do you make calls to?
Paratici. Yeah, exactly. Is he calling?
Nico, the biggest mistake or the thing we didn't do is to get a backup striker for on Kane. We haven't got anybody.
It's obvious.
And
it's obvious.
It's just so obvious. I mean, Danny Ings was available. I don't know why we didn't go for him. It's just
Because yeah.
Sorry.
We've lost Bale, we've lost a proven goal scorer, and we have no backup goal scorer. That is the position that we're in. Unless we're going to talk about Dane Scarlett, is that what we're referring to? Is that who's going to take over? I mean, it is a big issue. It comes back to what's going to happen to Nuno. I think that a couple more games like this, if we do lose to Arsenal, and give them the opportunity to get back in it, I think the questions will start being asked. But the next 2 or 3 games are going to be pretty critical, in my understanding. You always get away with one. Like today, you can blame the sending off and the craziness, and say up until then, we will seem to be holding our own until the 58th minute, or 76th minute. But what happens in the next game is going to be critical.
Yeah. Okay, Nico, just to finish off now, if he puts that team out and that type of performance at White Hart Lane or the Tottenham Stadium next week against Chelsea, there's going to be a lot of disgruntled fans and a lot of booing happening there. It's going to be toxic, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm a bit reluctant to pass judgment on that yet, because if Romero comes in, that it might... Yeah, it can change.
But do you think Romero can play? I mean, he's going to be he'll be in the country one day before the match. I don't know what training he's been doing.
Yeah, but I think he has like a personal trainer is it Croatia?
They're in Croatia.
Might be ready, so...
It's a bad... Nuno's had a bad game, that's fine. But again, I didn't see screaming or any shouting or anything from the touchline, just sitting there with his hands crossed.
Going to be a very hard match against Chelsea, and we were so poor against them last season. So
I'll take a draw. I'll take a draw now.
Yeah.
I'll take a draw now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, guys, we're going to close it up there. Cam, thanks for joining. Any final thoughts on the match, and also give us your prediction for Chelsea?
Well, my final thoughts is that we really need to try and understand what Nuno's thinking is, what structure he's going to put forward, and what does he actually want to do. Are we playing constantly for a 0-0 and just get one goal and go forward? Because right now, nobody can see us as an attacking force. Tottenham does not look like an attacking force. They just look like a park the bus force. Now, I do not believe that we'll do anything different against Chelsea. I believe that he will try and park the bus. He'll probably will put as many players as he did in the back line. But I think Chelsea will just have too much for us, and we'll probably be losing 2-0.
2-0, okay. Nico, what's your thoughts for next week? Final thoughts on this match and the prediction for next week?
Slightly bit. This match is just... I just put a line
put it away.
And throw it away. And the next match, I will say a bit more optimistic than Cam. 2-1 loss, and we play decent football. I'm a bit worried about Lukaku against either of our central defenders, to be honest. So, but
this is why it's so important that Romero's back, because last year in Serie A, Lukaku didn't have a great time against Romero, so we do need him back, really. That would be good. So from my point of view, again, it's going to be a hard match against Chelsea. I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to say we're going to be able to get away with the 1-1 draw. But we can't defend for long periods against teams like Chelsea, because they'll just cut you open eventually. You cannot do it. You can do it against teams like Palace, but not against Chelsea. Well, we couldn't even do it against Palace. But
yeah, I just want to say, if we have Ndombele in the squad, use him. You have to get him ready. He earns a fortune, and he needs to step up now. We need him. No.
We've been saying that for 3 seasons now. He still hasn't done it, unfortunately.
But the thing is, if we play 3 defensive midfield against Chelsea, it's going to be a painful watch, unfortunately.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, guys. Well, listen, thank you very much. This is Ray from Spurs 95.1. Thanks to Cam from Florida. Thanks to Nico as well for joining this post-match analysis. And we'll see you on the next podcast. Thanks, guys. Take care and bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
You've been listening to the Spurs 9501 podcast. Stay in touch, continue the debate, and let us know what you want to discuss by finding us on YouTube. Tune in after the next match day for more insight. Thanks for listening.